Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I want to give you guys a short-term update on Bitcoin as to what might be happening. We could be in for a bit of a scam dump quite soon, a bear trap, and that's indicated by liquidation level as well as the TA structures. But ultimately, I actually don't think Bitcoin looks bad, even really from a short-term perspective. I think that there are a lot of charts indicating that Bitcoin actually should be seeing some bullish price action on probably a medium-term perspective. You know, as I said, chance of that liquidation was short term, but overall it looks pretty good. And then I want to delve into a different topic, and that topic is quite interesting to a lot of people. It should be quite interesting to a lot of people, and that topic is, what would the next year look like if we're looking at fractals from previous years? As we know, the market is cyclical. Bitcoin is a cyclical asset. It moves cyclically, which means it has a cycle, of course. That's what the word cyclical means. And so we're in a part of the cycle now. We've seen two times before, and we can make cross references between the last two signs. We've seen this part of a cycle and what actually happens in the future, and try to predict what's going to happen in the future based off that, or at least get an understanding of what's likely to happen based on that cyclical theory. So we'll get into that after we discuss the first topic. But before we even get into the first topic, I do want to quickly mention the VIP group. VIP group, you guys know by now, it's on Telegram, WOC VIP on Telegram. We post altcoin trading signals in there, but I do want to mention it today for a specific reason. We're adding in a 6-month and 1 month and 1 year membership offers. Currently, we just sell 3-month memberships. We're adding in a 6-month and 1 year membership offer in a few days here. And so we will be seeing the 3-month membership go up in price, and you know, in order to compensate by that, we're lowering the prices overall on a daily basis by offering those 6-month and 1 year memberships. So go ahead and check that out. It's your last kind of real chance to get a 3-month membership at the current price. It will be raised. So go ahead and do that if you're interested. That's in the description below. But let's get into it today without further ado. Okay, so basically what's happening on Bitcoin. Why am I optimistic right now? Because that's ultimately what I am. I'm optimistic. So let's get into that. I'm optimistic on Bitcoin for a few reasons, and I've discussed many of them before, and I'm not going to spend too much time discussing them. We have major support on the weekly chart. 50 EMA, Gaussian channel center line, and the bull market support band, as well as a horizontal bullish level here, or support level, I should say, from 24.3k to 25.2k. I've said it before, I'll say it again, I'm not going to waste any time. If we drop below 24.3k, we no longer look good. So long as we're above 24.3k, we look pretty good. That's basically what I've said about Bitcoin for a long period of time. And I'll continue to say that. And look, 24.3k, if we lose it, it's not like, oh yeah, we're going to new lows. We have to break down a little bit, a lot more to get to new lows. But the point is, we lose the macro momentum, and we start looking quite bad again below 24.3k. As for when the 4-year cycle theory would be invalidated, that would have to be a new low. We'd have to wait for a complete new low for that to happen, because the 4-year cycle theory is based on tops and bottoms. It's not based on how far you move down after bottoming out, after doubling in Q1. There's no specific, I don't know if that's the word, specifics about that kind of scenario. What we need to be seeing for an invalidation of the 4-year cycle theory would be simply a new bottom below 15.4k. So overall, lots of support where we are right now. Above 24.3k is just abundance of support. And what we're seeing right now on short term is not particularly strong structures. Look, we're seeing a bear flag formation. And this is very short term. This is 4-hourly chart. Bear flag formation, the 4-hourly chart. We've moved downwards quite strongly into this bear flag. And we also have quite strong liquidation levels here at around 25.6k. And what this means is there's a bunch of liquidity waiting there at 25.6k. And generally speaking, when you have liquidity waiting in a region, as well as a bearish structure, you could be seeing a drop to the downside, right? And then it getting eaten up quite quickly, and we revert back to the upside. Now, that's what's likely to happen based on what you see when we have those large liquidity levels. I also want to point out the fact that but generally speaking, right, smart money institutions, whatever, whoever's controlling the price of Bitcoin plays games, and they play games using liquidity zones. And basically, if there's a large amount of liquidity in one area, essentially they will trap people. All right, what I'm telling you right now is a lot of people are looking at the fact that this is a descending triangle on Bitcoin, right? They're not looking at the fact that this could be a descending wedge on Bitcoin. They're simply not looking at that, because their bias at this point is bearish. We've moved up dramatically, and we've come down now. We've been going down for over a month, and they've flipped bearish. So they're not looking at the chance that this could actually be a bullish descending wedge formation, and hence they're not looking at this yellow support line that I'll make pink here, right? And so they don't know that this liquidation level lines up with this pink support line. So we could be seeing a very fast drop to this liquidation level, all right, and then a very quick bounce off of that pink support line. Only then would people realize that is a support zone, right? Now, look, even if we see that, I don't want to confuse you too much. I don't want to mislead you too much. Even if we do see a bounce after a touch of that level, I actually don't think Bitcoin looks that strong. there's only so strong you can look after flipping a daily trend bearish. I mean, we have flipped a trend bearish. Obviously, all you need to do in order to flip a trend bearish is you need to go from seeing, higher highs, okay, and higher lows, which is what that is. That's a bullish trend. Higher highs, higher lows. And you just need to see, a small reversal. You need to see times in which you see, okay, lower highs and lower lows, which is what we've seen now in the daily chart. We've seen a lower high, okay, over here, which was lower than there, and a lower low. So the daily trend is bearish at this point. So what we're looking for right now is actually a reversal. If we want to be bullish again, we have to see a reversal in the daily chart. So we're actually in a bearish trend right now, and that's worth noting as well. But I don't want to make it worse than it actually is. I don't think it's that bad. If you're considering, what's going on with the macro support zone, I don't think it's as bad as people are making it out to be. Yes, we have a bear flag formation, but I've just pointed out it could actually be a larger descending wedge formation. I don't know. I think it's a lot more gray area than people might think it is. I think people think it's very bearish. I don't see it that way at this point. Now, if we start losing levels, we start losing 25.2k, we lose 24.3k, which means we also lose this uptrending dotted yellow line, then that's a proper reversal because we would have reversed the macro trend. Look, as I said before, right, what makes a trend? An uptrend is higher highs and higher lows. Right now, on the short term, we flip to a downtrend, but on the longer term, right, we've still got an uptrend. We've got a low over here, a higher low, a higher low, higher high, higher high. So the macro trend is actually higher highs and higher lows, which means macro on an uptrend. So how do we lose that macro trend? Well, we should lose the support line that is the foundation of the last two higher lows. That's when we would lose the macro trend. So again, as per TA, objectively speaking, doesn't matter what my opinion is, objectively, the charts get bearish when we lose 24.3k, when we lose the yellow line that's involved with it. That's when it gets bearish. Let's not overlook other things as well. Total cryptocurrency market caps in a descending wedge formation. That could be, that could be confirming, in a way, the potential descending wedge formation we have in Bitcoin. Ethereum's in a descending channel formation. Both of these things are bullish formations, right? Descending channel, descending wedge, they're bullish formations. Ethereum and total cryptocurrency market cap don't look bad at all. Bitcoin dominance doesn't look bad at all. What we see on Bitcoin dominance is coming up to the top of this descending wedge formation. Yes, we've rejected temporarily here, but we've actually formed a shorter term bull flag formation with a strong downtrending RSI resistance. And this means if we do break that to the upside, which would happen as per a break of a bull flag, we would be testing that resistance zone properly. And obviously Bitcoin dominance going upwards while Bitcoin is in an upwards trend. And in a period of the cycle where you generally see Bitcoin dominance going upwards while Bitcoin consolidates and moves upwards, that's going to be bullish as well. So, all I'm saying is this. I'm not saying that Bitcoin is particularly bullish or bearish in short term and medium term. I'm sorry if I potentially misled you there at the start, but I just think it's not as bad as people think it is at this point yet. Maybe it does get bad, who knows? But as of this point, it's not bad yet. Just objectively speaking, looking at the data from an objective viewpoint, it's really not. And I think I've shown you that objectively, with as a little amount of opinion involved as possible. I think I've shown you objectively that it's actually not as bad as people might think it is at this point. So look, ultimately we're just going to wait for short-term developments. There's only so much we can discuss the same price region for. Really not much has happened. When we get a move out of that bear flag formation, then there'll be new things to discuss. But that's basically all we can say about the short term. It's just a waiting game at this point. It's just a bit of a grey area, a bit of a waiting game. And we're just going to have to wait for breakouts, wait for developments before we can discuss it more. What we can discuss in the meantime is the cyclical trends for Bitcoin. Now, I've discussed 4-year cycle theory endlessly. You guys are well aware of it by now. Look, if you're around in this point of the cycle, the chances are you've probably stuck around since the peak. And not many people come into crypto during the bear market. And if you stuck around during the peak, you probably know the fundamentals of the 4-year cycle theory. It's basically every 4 years we see a halving, every 4 years we see a bull market, every 4 years we see a bear market, and we have 2 years in between. That's the 4-year cycle. And so obviously, the halving is a fundamental part of the 4-year cycle. And what we see generally is similar price action in bull markets, similar price actions in bear markets, but also similar price action in the period in between bull markets and bear markets. So what we can go ahead and do, knowing that there's similarities that are formed over time, and knowing that the cyclical trends are generally consistent with each other, right, cycle to cycle, we can take fractals, right, from previous periods of markets and go ahead and apply it to the current period of market and see where the data indicates we will go. So we can go ahead and see from the bottom in 2015 to the halving over here, I think it was April or March 2016, maybe it was over here in June actually, okay? So from the bottom to the halving, we can take a fractal and we can apply that to the bottom of the halving this time, okay? So apply it from the bottom to the halving, and the halving, of course, in the next cycle will be April 2024, and as you can see, that lines up perfectly. We can do the same thing in 2018. We can take the data from the bottom to the halving, which is in May 2020, okay? And we can apply that to this cycle, and we'll make that one pink, okay, just so we can see, we'll make it yellow actually, so we can see the differences between the two cycles. So as you can see, right, the previous two cycles, which this cycle has every reason to be following, okay, as per 4-year cycle, has every reason to be following, indicate that Bitcoin, until the halving in April 2024, should be basically going slightly upwards, but basically sideways. Slightly upwards, but basically sideways. If we're following what we did in 2018, we will be seeing Bitcoin top out at 36K by the halving. We're following what we did in 2015, 46K by the halving. So 36K to 46K by the halving. And if we want to be more precise, obviously logarithmic chart isn't fully precise, we can just go ahead and actually measure straight up what the percentage gain was from bottom to halving. And I'm going to go ahead and measure from here to here. I don't know exactly when it was, but you can see it's roughly 300%. 300% gain from bottom to halving in 2015. Okay, and in 2018, it was bottom to halving, roughly, again, 200%. So 300%, 200%. What would it be this time? Well, if you take the average, it's 250%. Okay, and that would bring us to around, well, look, plus 250% would bring us to around 55,000 by the halving. But if you want to do diminished returns, okay, you could even say, 300% in 2015, 200% in 2018. You could say it's going to be 100% this time. And if it was 100% this time, that would take us to around 30K by the halving. And of course, we've already pretty much reached 30K. Okay, and so this, what I'm doing right now, and the reason why I'm telling you all this is because I'm establishing the fact that we have basically done all we need to do, for Bitcoin until the halving. Bitcoin is in no man's land until the halving. It's in a gray area. We don't know what's going to happen from a cyclical perspective until the halving. For all we know, the top could be in, right, for the next year. Now, the only thing we need to do in order to remain consistent with the 4-year cycle is not go to a new low. We could quite literally go sideways for the next entire year. And that would be brain-numbingly boring, but it is on the table. So keep it in mind. Now, we could also go up, okay? We could also go up to 36K, or we could go up to 46K, or we could go higher, The point is there's no guidelines besides we don't form a new high and we don't form a new low until basically April next year after the halving. So just be prepared, guys. We could be seeing bullish price action. We could be seeing bearish price action. It could just go sideways. It could get very boring. We don't know what to expect. We only have two expectations, and that's we're not going to form a new high. We're not going to form a new low before April next year. So keep that in mind. I think it's worth noting, and I think it's worth repeating because I've said it a couple of times now, but I think it's worth really getting that into your head. If you don't believe in the 4-year cycle theory at this point, you're not looking at the data. The data is very clear. 4-year cycle is active, and until it's inactive, we have to believe that Bitcoin is going to remain consistent within the parameters of it. And the parameters of it are quite simply this: no new low, no new high until April 2024 or after. So we could very well go sideways for a long period of time here. Let's see. Thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Check out the Bitget exchange to get a low fee exchange, which is non-KYC or optional KYC. You don't have to KYC on this exchange, which is great to see. If you want even lower fees from this exchange, you can sign up using my personal referral link and get a 15% trading fee discount on the exchange for life. You can do that using the link in the description below. If you want to learn how to trade, the Become a Trader 10-unit course is the way to do so. The Crypto Academy and myself and Megawell Crypto within the Crypto Academy developed this course for you guys. We developed it last year. It's released about a year ago at this point now. We have about 120 students in this course, and we haven't heard any proper complaints about it. In fact, we've only heard good things. If you're interested in the course, you can throw us an email. The email address is on the website. I'll find it here, cryptoacademycourse@gmail.com, and we'll send you back a full pamphlet and video tutorial, video walkthrough of the course so you can make an educated decision of whether you think it is right for you. That's for free, so go ahead and do that regardless. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.